doing this evening. All right, so y'all, we are going to be cooking something that I'm super excited to be making, and this is a bone broth. It's bone broth, okay, y'all. That's what we're gonna be making. So I saw this recipe. There's an influencer. She actually made this. She made this bone broth thing that she got from her Chinese herbalist doctor, and she posted online. I forget her name. It's like living. It's something with live in it, and I was like, girl, I want to do that because I definitely want to get more bone broth. And I find that when I have a liquid in the morning, like something light in the morning like that, it's just better for me. So I went ahead and did my own spin on it. So that's what we're gonna do. Okay, so these are the ingredients we're gonna be using. So first and foremost, I went to Publix. I got this Swanson beef broth. It's actually buy one get one free right now, so y'all should take advantage of that. And this runs well in both the Yuka and the Olive app. I use both Yuka and Olive to scan products. Okay, so you scan them, they give you a nice little thing. I understand they're not perfect, y'all, but it's better than nothing. Okay, so boom, 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 boom. Got that. I've used this. I made this once, so this is already empty, but because there's a little bit, I'm gonna just use this. This one had reduced sodium in it, so boom. We're gonna use onion, bok choy, which is like my new favorite vegetable right now. So I got two. Y'all, when I went to Whole Foods, the bok choy there was not good. I was so unimpressed. Then there's this Chinese herb or Asian herb called daikon, I think. I'm sorry, y'all, if I mispronounce it, y'all. I am not Chinese, but this is also what she mentioned in the video. So I went ahead and grabbed this because Whole Foods actually did have this. So I'm excited to just pop this in there because I didn't have it last time. We have sliced shiitake mushrooms, okay, and then we have beef. Okay, so the beef here, because it's been out defrosting, it's already kind of cooking itself. Now, she had ground beef in the recipe. I find that if I just dice these a little more, it's still fine. Now, you can go places and get diced beef, but for whatever reason, I just didn't want to do that. So I'm going to do that. And then I have these peppers. Oh, not the bok choy, gotta fall off. Then I have diced peppers here. Okay, also, if y'all were on my live last time, hello everyone, thanks for joining me. I have been using this so far. It's these compostable bags, these compostable, earth-friendly zipper gallon bags. Yeah, it's like a Ziploc alternative. Okay, so I've been using that to store my peppers. So as you can see, look at my peppers, y'all. They're still good. And these have been in the fridge for a couple of days. So this bag so far is doing pretty well. My peppers look really good. So I'm happy about that. Okay? Because this is my first time using this compostable one. So look at this. Mira for my Spanish speaking people. Okay? So the bag is working pretty well. I'm pretty happy with it. Okay? Because I was a little like, we're so used to Ziploc. I'm like, well, we'll see. But the plastic isn't good for us. So that's why I was like, let me see if I can get this alternative. This was also on sale. Two for $5. Publix. If y'all go on Publix, right? I know some of us are not pro grocery store. That's perfectly fine. But if you go to Publix, they have a little section, a little clearance section where you can get cool stuff like this for discounted. So I went ahead and grabbed that. Okay. So let's go ahead and get started with this beef broth that I got going on here. I'm super excited. I really love this. It's very tasty and it's very easy to make, you guys. It's very easy to make, and you can honestly have it in the morning because it's not super, it's not super heavy. So I like it. And honestly, the great thing with the broth is like you can really just put whatever you want in it, right? So you can take somebody else's recipe and kind of amend it how you want to. You don't have to, go strictly by the book. There's a specific knife I'm looking for, and I don't see her. So we might just have to improvise. I don't know where the knife is at. There's a specific knife that I like. Okay, it's this. Okay. So we're gonna start off here with my onions. Can y'all see me? Okay, perfect. We're gonna start here with my onions. I'm just gonna cut off the end right here. Wrong side. Oh, girl. I'm just gonna cut off this part here. And the casing should just fall off. Sorry, next time I'm gonna have some more of this cut off so that this can kind of move a little faster. I was just so excited, y'all, to just put this all together. I wasn't even thinking that, oh, I haven't cut my onions. Plus, last time I already had the onions kind of sliced already. But yeah, how's everyone doing? Has anyone y'all can put in the chat if you're comfortable. If y'all have put if y'all have made a bone broth before and what you like putting in your bone broth, you know. I was telling this on the live last time that a lot of cultures have their own versions of bone broth. If you go to like in a lot of West African countries, they call it like pepper soup, and it's the same premise, right? It's the bones of animals are used, right? They're left overnight or for a period of time, and the nutrients they are used kind of to you know they use that to make another dish. So that is kind of a global thing. I don't know why this is not peeling, y'all. This usually comes off a lot smoother. I have been using red onions more than white onions lately. So I'm just gonna take this off, y'all, because I don't want it to be peeling. But yeah. So I like to slice my onions, not really dice. You can do whatever you want, but I'm a slicer, not really a dicer. So I just kind of go in here, thin strands, and the great thing about onion is that you can really cut half of this. Oh Lord, it's coming. You can cut half of this, and then you can just spread it, and then before you know it, you have more onions than you realize. Like you don't have to use the whole onion. That's what I'm saying. So we're gonna go ahead and get this started. I'm gonna be using my single source olive oil here. I have talked about this many times. This is from Trader Joe's, y'all. So it's just single source because unfortunately, y'all, so many things in our current world are so many things are not pure, right? So there's so much contamination going on. So that's why it's important to make sure your olive oil, excuse me, yeah, your olive oil is actually olive oil because y'all know that olive oil, a lot of times they mix it with stuff that's not even olive oil. So your olive oil might actually have canola oil in it and you're thinking it's olive oil and it's actually not. And it's crazy. There's several universities that have done studies actually taking the olive oils that we see in the store and looking at the breakdown of the ingredients and finding that a lot of them actually are in olive oil. It's pretty crazy out here, you guys. So I always shoot for single source olive oil for that reason. So we're just gonna get this started right here. All right. I might have even put more olive oil than necessary, but that's okay. We're gonna heat that up. First thing we're gonna put in is our onion. So like I was saying, I slice these. I'm a slicer, not really a dicer. So you slice them, and what I love about slicing is when you break up the onion, right? Then you have like multiple pieces here. You see what I'm saying? So that way, you don't need that much, right? It feels you might be like, oh, this isn't a lot enough. Not true. Once you separate the slices, you find that you actually have a lot more. And once again, if you're a dicer, go ahead and dice your onions. You can do that. I'm not a dicer like that. So I'm gonna go ahead, since I hear that olive oil heating up, I'm gonna go ahead and add this. Always make sure you don't want to burn yourself, right? Because that's something. The olive oil is very reactive. Not as reactive as avocado oil, but olive oil she be making her noises. So I go ahead and I'm just gonna lower this slightly. All right. So I hear that crackling already. Oh, I'm dropping things. Lord. Okay, we'll leave that there. Okay. So that's getting started. All right. This is even on low heat. So, all right. So we'll leave that a little bit. Now, while that's going, I'm going to go ahead and take my beef here. Now, in a perfect world, I would have already had this sliced up. So what I was telling people earlier is that so the original recipe, that I got this from. She uses ground beef. I personally, when I initially was making this, I didn't have ground beef, but I had regular beef. So I said I'm not gonna go buy ground beef when I can just kind of slice these into thinner chunks and kind of utilize them in a similar way. So that's something you can do too, or you can buy this diced, right? That's another option. But really, when it comes to these things, you just, you know, if you want to make something and you don't have exactly everything, that is okay because you probably have something in your kitchen that can replicate it in some way, shape, or form. You know what I'm saying? Like I just feel like at this point, when you I don't know. If you, the more creative you are, and the more you just kind of go, you know what? I'm just going to use what I have. I'm going to substitute this for this. The more you get used to that, I feel like the better your cooking is because you can really thrive in any setting and make something out of anything. So that's kind of what I try and do for myself because I'm like, okay, I don't have the ground beef, but I have beef. So I'm just going to make this into little diced slices here, and I will put that in the beef broth. So that is just my personal philosophy. But I'm sure if you wanted, you could put these chunks in too, this exact size. It's just a matter of preference. All right, so we are gonna go ahead and cut this up a little bit. All right, and I'm gonna just check midway. I'm just gonna check midway to see what is going on here with mine. All right, so we're just gonna go ahead. We're gonna throw in that. All right. In a perfect world, I would have put all of the beef in at once, but y'all know how life be like it. So I'm just gonna add as I go, and just be careful with the cutting. Okay. And we're just gonna do this as well. And then we're going with our second. Okay. And I'm gonna take my. Oh, Lord help us. All right, I have this on low. All right. So I can see that this is already kind of sticking to the pan. So I have an option here. I can add some more olive oil, which is what I'm gonna do. Or if you want to, you can literally go in and add the beef stock. I'm not gonna do that just yet because I want to put in some more beef here, right? Now, for this beef bone broth recipe, you don't have to put in all the beef chunks, right? You can cut a couple to get started. So that's what we're gonna do. I have the heat on low, but because I know that this is cooking fast and this is gonna go, I'm gonna monitor it as I cut. All right. So, like I was saying, hello. Thank you so much for joining us. Like I was saying, so the original recipe I use calls for ground beef. I don't have ground beef right now, so but I do have beef. So what I'm doing is I'm cutting up my beef slices into little chunks. I'm dicing them. So that's kind of what I like to do in my kitchen, right? I like to push myself to say if I don't have the exact ingredients that the recipe calls for, what do I have instead that can still yield results? You understand what I'm saying? And when you have that ability, that's when you become a better cook, in my opinion. So we're gonna go ahead and keep on slicing. We're gonna slice, slice, slice. We're gonna slice. We are gonna slice our beef until our beef is ready to eat. Yes, we are gonna slice it. Slice. Okay. Alrighty. So things are heating up in our kitchen. Y'all hear that? That's the sound of good food, y'all. So I had this in the morning. This was so good to have in the morning, you guys. It was so refreshing. And also, I know many people come on my live here, but I do want to just really talk about how this as a woman is very good, especially during that time of the month when you need some extra iron. Okay? So I know some people, there's the anti-meat brigade, and I understand them. You know, the sourcing of a lot of things is not right. I totally 100% understand. Pero the reality is there are some benefits to animal meat, and you just gotta know your body. So if you're a woman, especially around that time of the month, adding some extra iron in won't hurt. So that's one reason why I'm also a big fan of this. Okay. So I'm gonna slice this last chunk here, and I'm gonna go in and add the rest of my ingredients. Okay. And like I said, when it comes to these beef stocks, you can really make it your own. All right. So I've added in some beef here. Next, I'm actually gonna go in with these mushrooms here. Okay, so these are shiitake mushrooms. All right, I got these pre-sliced. In an ideal world, you would buy the mushroom and slice them yourself because that's the purest way to do it. But life happens, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna make this a little easier for myself, and I'm gonna get the pre-sliced one. And that's another thing. Sometimes you're like, I don't feel like slicing 2,000 mushrooms, and that's okay. You don't have to. Now, because this is cooking, all right, I'm gonna bring the camera a little closer, but because this is cooking, this is the beef broth that I'm using. If you go to Publix, Publix has this on sale, buy one get one free. I scanned this in both the Yuka and the Olive app. Those are apps that kind of can scan the food and tell you about the ingredients. So I went ahead and got this one. This is a less sodium. Both of them did pretty well. So I just wanted to finish this. There was barely anything in it. So I'm gonna go ahead here and add my beef stock, okay? Because I see that things are heating up in the kitchen. So we're just gonna go ahead and add the beef stock. Okay, about half is good for this. And I'm gonna raise the temperature slightly. Another thing to keep in mind when you're cooking is that not everything cooks the same way. So I know that beef is going to need more time to cook than mushrooms or even the bok choy here, right? So because of that, I am intentional about when I add each ingredient into the bone broth. So beef went in first, mushrooms went in next, and then the bok choy is going to go in kind of last because I know that bok choy, leafy greens, really they cook super fast. I don't want these overcooked. Now, what I'm adding in this is a Chinese herb. It's called daikon. Daikon. Sorry, y'all, I'm not Chinese. I'm improvising off of a recipe here. But the girl in the video, excuse me, that I got I adapted this recipe from. She mentioned this herb, so I said, okay, I'm gonna go ahead. It's kind of like oniony-ish how it smells. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw it in here. I'm gonna slice it into this. Okay. I think this is a herb good for immunity. That's what she mentioned. So I'm gonna go ahead and add it in there. All right. Then I also have my peppers. I want to add some more beef in here. So I'm gonna go ahead with that. She doesn't call for seasoning the beef. Last time I made this, I kind of did throw in just some last minute seasoning just because I really do like seasoning, but there's a lot of flavor in this already. Okay, so now I'm gonna prepare my bok choy. All right, bok choy is also an Asian leaf vegetable, right? I've grown to really respect this plant over the years. I really do like bok choy, and it goes so well into soups and broths. And if anyone knows what you can do to whether this part, the white part, is like, does anyone use it for anything? Because I've personally never used it. I usually just use the leaves and then that's that. So I'm kind of in a phase where I want to learn how to use every part of the plant. So if y'all know, feel free to let me know. Feel free. Okay, so when it comes to bok choy and leafy greens in general, what I do is I just go ahead and preemptively cut off the tip because that typically is kind of worn. So I kind of just preemptively go ahead and cut that part off. That's just how I do that. So now I can really use the rest of the leaf here because I've kind of done away with the part that maybe isn't as good. What I love about bok choy as well is it breaks off so easily, so you don't really have to do much fighting. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and just cut it off as normal. And you can cut these slices as big or as small as you would like. I did it a little big last time. It was a little more work to eat it, but honestly, like this dissolves pretty well, so it's not that big of a deal. You can always go as fine or as large as you want with this leaf. So I'm gonna go in here and we are gonna just slice it a little bit. All right, so you see how it's fine. So we're gonna go ahead and throw that in here. All right, so I'm gonna raise the temperature just a little bit. And I'm gonna end up using this entire, all the leaves here. You don't have to. That's just me. And to make this more efficient, honestly, we can kind of just go ahead and cut the whole thing, all leaves at once, because I know I'm going to use that, right? But you don't have to. If you only want to use some leaves or half of the plant, you can certainly do that as well. Okay, that's what we're going to do. And I'm going to do some research on this, the bottom part of the bok choy plant and see if people use it for something. Can it also be added to the broth? That's what I want to do because I feel like there's so much left to the plant, and it's kind of like cutting a lettuce. So it's really similar, but the taste is different. So just cutting here, and I went to multiple stores because for whatever reason, Whole Foods initially I was very disappointed with the bok choy they had. I was not happy with that, so I had to go back and forth between stores to get it. So you know, just pay attention to the leaves. That's really the main thing. I'm gonna cut this a little bit more. I'm gonna cut it a little bit more, but honestly, I'm okay with it this size. It's not terrible, and this is actually pretty. So we're just gonna cut it a little bit more. But yes, you see how it looks. This is what we're working with here. Right, so you see, so because I've decided this is how it looks, this is how it's gonna look, but you can feel free to cut this thinner. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and toss this into the right. And the great thing with broths is you get to decide the ratio. So if you want this to be, hey, I want my broth to be more heavier on the leafy side, you can do that. If you want it to be heavier on the beef side, you can do that. You can tailor all of these things to your personal likes. Okay? So never feel like you have to, the recipe calls for this and I have to do it like this. Nope, not necessarily. All right, so things are heating up over here. I'm gonna bring y'all over in a second. I'm gonna stir this just a little bit, just a little bit. And I'm actually gonna add some more beef stock here, and that's another decision you can make. How much beef stock do you want? Do you want it to be more soupy? Like it's really your world. And I actually just ended up using a whole bit. I'm probably gonna make this eat this for breakfast tomorrow and this week. So let me just bring it over real quickly. All right, so here's what we're working with. All right, so you can see Of course, we have our broth base, and what I love is you can really see all of the ingredients. I mean, think about most of the food we eat today. So much of the food we eat today, we can't even see the ingredients. It's just a mash of things. So here you have a soup, you can literally see everything. So here you see the daikon, right? You see the beef, you see the bok choy, right? You see the onions. It's just absolutely beautiful and very, very, very nutritious, okay? Because we're just packing this with nutrients, okay? Now, what I'm also gonna do here to add some color, and because I have so many peppers left over, because I was making fajitas last week, so I have a lot. I'm actually gonna go in here. I'm gonna add some peppers. Like I said, with all of these things, you make it what you want. So if you're like, I don't want to add peppers to my beef broth, you don't have to. You don't have to. That's the amazing thing. So as I was showing people earlier, I actually have transitioned from using Ziploc bags, and I'm actually using this compostable bag. So it's like a Ziploc alternative. Publix had these like I guess on sale. It was like two for $5, but it's called Matter. It's these compostable Ziploc alternatives, these compostable gallon bags. So I was like, you know what? Let me change. Let me go ahead and see what it's about. All right, because Ziploc is plastic that takes thousands of years to degrade. So I said, okay, let me go ahead and try this brand. Now I've had my peppers in here for like a couple days, and honestly, they're holding up pretty well. Look at this slice; it's still pretty good, right? So it has been in this matter bag for a couple of days, and it looks pretty good. So I think this is doing a good job of keeping the produce fresh. So that's always nice because sometimes with these alternatives, they don't work as well. Let's just be honest, they do not work as well. So it's looking so good so far. I'll keep everyone posted on how it's going. But for this, I don't know if it's been quite a week, almost a week. It's been looking pretty good. So I'm cutting my green pepper here. Okay. Like I said, whatever size you want, you do it. So I'm gonna actually dice these because I don't really want the pepper to be that big in my dish. Okay. So I'm just gonna go ahead, scoop this up, throw this in there. Okay. I also have some. I added arugula last time, and the arugula actually was fine. It didn't overpower the broth or anything like that. So that's another thing with broths. Like when if there's like something that you are, you're like, man, I gotta get rid of my. I have this spinach that I still have to use. Just throw it in the broth, right? Of course, you want to make sure it doesn't the flavor doesn't overpower the whole thing. But that's another great thing with broth. It's a good way to make sure your produce doesn't go to waste because you can really just throw in a whole confection of things. Another thing though that I recommend with broths is tailor when I say tailor it to yourself. Don't just it's not just necessarily to your preference. It's also like what things are you dealing with in your body that you want to want to improve, right? So for example, right, one great thing with bone broth is that this has a lot of iron. If you're a woman during that time of the month, you know that you're going to need some more iron, so that is really helpful for that. You see what I'm saying? So add ingredients that are helping you deal with whatever health issue or some deficiency you might have, right? That's something that I try to do when I am making these broths is I go, okay, I don't just throw in random stuff. I try and kind of tailor it to what my body needs at that moment or in general, right? But at the end of the day, this stuff in general is great for you. Um, I'm gonna go ahead and actually slice this up a little bit. I don't know why I just threw them in like this. I guess because they said it's already sliced, but I kind of want these slices to be a little smaller. So that's all we're gonna do. We're just gonna slice our mushrooms up. And like I said, if you don't like mushrooms, then don't eat them. like sometimes you do have to kind of force yourself to eat that stuff you don't like. But if you want to make a broth that doesn't have mushroom, you don't need to. That's fine. You just find other ingredients that kind of work for you. So you just have to remember it. Like, don't feel like you're married to any of these things. Okay. All right. So we're just stirring here. I'm gonna bring y'all in so we can see exactly what we're working with. All right. I'm so sorry. I was not looking at these comments. I love pepper. Yes, pepper is great. In fact, I recommend if you like pepper, you can go to your local like gardening store and buy peppers. Like, and then you can grow them yourself. I actually am starting to grow peppers myself, so I'm super excited. I'll show y'all maybe tomorrow what my pepper is looking like. All right, so this is what we got. Look how great this is, you guys. Look at this. Look at this. So we have our bok choy, we have our mushroom slices, we have our beef here, we have our onion. I mean, this is heaven to me, you guys. This is really heaven, and this is really great. I'm super excited to eat this, okay? This looks so good. And honestly, we're probably almost done if we're being real. I really probably don't need to cook this any longer if I'm being honest. I do think I might add a couple more beef chunks in here, but really you guys, this is so simple, right? We're hitting the 30-minute mark, and this really didn't take that long to make. This was about 20 minutes, you guys. 20 minutes to make a broth that has a plethora of ingredients and nutrients that can support your health, right? I mean, look how easy that was. 20 minutes. 20 minutes is the same time it takes for you to order, takeout and for it to come to you. In the same time, you can make something highly nutritious. Amazing. Let me go through some of these comments. Um, Thank you for subscribing. I really appreciate it. I do not speak Portuguese. I would love to speak Portuguese, but I do not. But I certainly one day I will. I hope I'm able to speak Portuguese. But thank you. Thank you for that. All right. So once again, let's take a little peep at these ingredients. Onion, bok choy, beef, and then we have daikon, that Chinese herb as well, and mushrooms. I mean, you guys, it doesn't really get any better than this if I do say so myself. It really doesn't. Right. Now, so once again, I highlighted this herb. I'm gonna be honest, y'all. I just saw it in the recipe that the girl mentioned. I don't really know what it does. I think she said it is good for immunity. So I'm like, okay, shoot, I'm gonna just throw it in there. So, but yeah, definitely research things. I was just like, okay, I saw that at the store. I saw that whole thing. Okay, I'm gonna add it. I'm gonna add it. So I'm just gonna add one more slice here, and we're just gonna throw it in there. And the great thing with broth is it doesn't even have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect slices, perfect anything, because it's all just gonna come together. So if you're like someone who cooks but isn't trying to cook, like you're not feeling it, then that's perfect because it allows you to put things together and it's not that much effort. So I think it's a win-win for everybody. I'm actually gonna throw in these remaining onion slices because onions will cook pretty fast. So I'm actually just gonna throw that in there. I see this orange peppers here, so I'm just gonna cut that up, throw that in there. Like I said with the broth, you can make it yours. So, and then if there's some things that, hey, I am, my peppers are about to go bad. Toss it in the broth, right? So that's what we're doing. Put these in here. So I'm super excited to eat this now. And then you could pair it with whatever you want. So, I think I'm gonna add one more beef cube here. And like I was telling some people, so the recipe initially calls for ground beef. I, however, have found that if I just get regular beef and slice it into thinner slices, that works well too. So we're gonna do that. All right, and I think that's that. Right? I think we're good to go for our broth here. So I'm just gonna show y'all one last sneak peek of the broth here. Okay, y'all, look how delicious this looks, you guys. And then when you add those colorful peppers, amazing, amazing, amazing. Okay, look at that. And the great thing with broth too is you can turn, y'all. I know y'all see how delicious this look. I know y'all see this. Oh, what did I do? I know y'all see this. I know y'all see this. Look how delicious this broth is, you guys. Mira, eso. Come on, you guys. This is creme de la creme. This is health and wealth in a pot. Come on. Ah, y'all, don't make me act up. Don't make me act up. Come on. Mira, eso. This is delicious. Ah, amazing. Giving you the best of me. Amazing. This bone broth is amazing. Amazing. All right. So thank you all so much who came on the live. Thank you all so much who commented in the chat. Thank you all to everyone who watched this from start to finish. Thank you for all the suggestions, comments. Thank you to everyone who subscribed. I'm super, super excited to eat this. And I hope that y'all make your own bone broth and let me know how that goes. And I will see you all later. Thank you. Have a great one. Bye.